Kind of in terms of the pass rush, I got like two questions. One, why not blitz a fifth defender more? And then two, why did Armstead and Thomas not play the last drive?
I would like to see them in there more in the last drive. They didn't get in there enough. We did do a number of 5-man rushes in the game. Why don't you do more? When you do more, just be more susceptible to coverage. When you do 4-man rushes, then you got 7 guys in coverage, so it just changes what you do. When you're playing man or zone, you can call it a zone dog when you bring 5, but you're still manning people in your zone. So you can drop a D in and call it zone, but that tight end runs a corner, he still has a man-to-man. So that's the reason for that.
With Armstead and Thomas, when you say you would have liked to see them in more, is that something that you didn't realize during the game, or is that something they couldn't play?
That's something when it's all said and done, you want certain guys to get a certain amount of rushes.
Right.
And that has to do with situations and personnel groupings and what down and distance they're in. And when it was all said and done, they didn't have enough opportunities, I thought, at nickel. I'd like to see them have more.
It certainly implies that the 4 guys out there, when there's no threat of run, are considered the 4 best pass rushers. Is that the case?
Yes, but ours has changed week to week because we don't think we've had a set number 1 best 4 guys. I think Buck's the guy we've kept the most consistent. Our edge rushers have been the same, but they've been rotating throughout the year. But our inside guys, we've rotated pretty much between 3 guys after Buck.
On the penalty on what you call a false start, it seemed like there was a lot of confusion. The ref moved the ball away. What was your view of that play? Did you give any sort of explanation on?
No, they spotted the ball and our guys lined up, and they were about to go, and then the guy moved the ball back 2 yards, and most of our guys saw it move back. McGlinchey was still looking at the DM, getting ready for the snap count, and didn't see it.
Were you guys double teaming Saquon Barkley when he was being used as a receiver?
You just sometimes depends on what the coverage is. I mean, you got to have the call. You can't just double time him every time he goes out on a route. You also don't know when he's going to go out a route. Sometimes our protection time is there in scat, which means it's a 5-man protection so the back can get out. But there's times that you do, yes.
How does this game rate as far as a number of plays you've submitted to the league for clarification?
I'm not sure. Someone else does that. I mean, it's up there. There's a bunch of them. But all you do is get clarification, and they say they're sorry or they weren't sorry. So it doesn't really change anything.
Is the official supposed to notify? Like, is there supposed to be something said when he moves the ball that way in that situation?
I don't know. I think usually they spot the ball in the right spot and don't change their mind right before the ball snaps. So I don't know if there's supposed to be a rule. I didn't think you just got to do it right the first time. But yeah, if that's going to happen, I think there should be something. But you try to yell and get an answer in the heat of the battle while the time clock's going. Eventually, you got to call the play and move on with your life.
Have you had a discussion with Kello since speaking with us last night?
No, I had a discussion with him in the team meeting today. Brought up some number of stuff with the whole team, but haven't seen Kello one-on-one yet.
What did you say to him?
A lot of stuff I don't want to go over with everyone. It's between me and the team.
Is there a general message that you sent them into the bye week with?
Yeah, just to sit there, and I want them to really reflect on the season so far, what they want coming back in these 6 games. We got 6 games coming back, a lot of football to play, and a lot of important football to play. I want them to sit there and really think of what their goals are for the rest of the half. Do they want to solidify themselves as a starter, a backup? Do they want to be a part of it here? Do they want to be one of the answers or a solution to what we're going through? And really, when they think about all that and they understand it all and what they want, which I'm sure they all have high aspirations, I want their actions to come back and show that.
You opted to play kind of in pressure situations in 6 games that 3 guys won't mean a whole lot in the standings, but is that kind of your goal to put pressure on them and see how these guys perform?
Yes, that's your goal, and these 6 games is your goal always. My goal is to get our guys to play the best they possibly can. Whoever's in our building, to get them to play the best they can. I believe that we can get more out of our guys. I believe that's up to myself, I believe it's up to coaches, and I believe it's up to the players. I think there's guys that are doing some good things, but even the guys who are doing the best, I still think there's even more. I think George Kittle's had a hell of a year. I think he can improve a lot more. I think Breed has done some good things. He can get better. I think Buck can get better. Sherm can get better. From all the top guys I'm mentioning to the bottom guys, we all can get better, and coaches included.
Before last night, Kelly's had played many snaps since coming back from his injury. Seemed a little up and down last night. Where is he in his development?
That was the first time we really put him back in there and thought he was good, ready, or had enough practice, healthy practice to give him those reps. So that was his first full week of a healthy practice. You know, the week before he got 2 straight practices in, but it was with all the walkthrough stuff for the Thursday night game. He got 3 good days in, or really 4 last week because we had the bonus practice on Monday. He earned himself a number of reps with it and did a decent job. By no means was it perfect. Expect him to get a lot better as this goes, and he's another guy putting a lot of pressure on here the last 6 weeks. I don't want him to take some huge steps forward, but at least playing some, getting out of the game healthy, I think he finally has the opportunity to do it.
When you guys come back for practice next week, what are your plans for the quarterback situation? Is it going to be more of an open competition between CJ and Nick, or is one or the other going to be the guy right out the gate?
No, I mean, Nick Mullins is our starter until I say differently.
Okay.
You know, it's going about it that way, and that's how it'll continue to be.
Kyle, how would you assess Richard Sherman's performance to this point, and also what has his value been to your team, not just what he's doing on the field, but for community value?
I thought Richard had one of his best games last night. I thought it was probably his best game of the year. And I don't think it was coincidence. I thought it was his best week of practice of the year. I think Richard went through a big offseason of some big injuries that he was overcoming. And he battled hard to get through those and had a number of setbacks in training camp when he did have that made it hard to practice a bunch. And he got himself ready for week 1 and played. I know he had to miss a few weeks as his injuries crept back. And he played through a bunch of stuff these last few weeks. And I think it's been great about Richard, just showing other guys and stuff how you can play through things when you're not 100%. When you do, you got to still play at a high level that helps you win. And he's done that in a number of situations. And watching him get in a longer week after the Thursday night game, I didn't show up quite as much on Monday, but the Wednesday's practice, he moved differently. Seemed a lot healthier, and I continued Thursday and Friday, and I thought it looked that way on Monday also. So hopefully this week will help him even more to continue to heal his body up, but he's played at a very good level for us, and I expect him to continue to get better.
There was some speculation when you guys signed him that he had the kind of skill set and the type of game that would defy age or injuries better than another type of corner. Is that something that you've seen through his play?
To a degree. I didn't think people say that because Richard, he's very talented and things like that, but that's not what separates him from other people. Richard's game has a lot to do with what's upstairs. He's thinking a lot. He understands route combinations. It's hard to beat him on the same thing twice. You can get him once, but usually the second time it's a pick. That allows him to, I think he's in his 8th year. He's played 7 years, so by no means do I think he's at that stage yet where we're talking about him being old. But as he does get there and you start to lose a couple steps, which happens to everybody, the guys that have been successful because of more than just their ability are guys that usually can still play at a high quality even though their skills diminish. But I don't think he's there yet.
Do you view Mullins' performance last night as a step back or a positive experience for him?
I think it's a positive experience. The guy's played 1 game in his career. I know statistically that was the best start in NFL history, but I think they did some real good things yesterday too. It's a little bit more of a challenge in some circumstances. Had to play for 4 quarters. The Oakland game got out of hand pretty fast. Halfway through the third, it was a lot more relaxed. So here he had to do it beginning to end. Did some good things at the beginning, did some good things at the end, and had some plays at the beginning he missed and some plays at the end he missed. So what I liked about Nick is he never seemed rattled throughout the whole game. Continued playing. He was great after the game. He was great just watching the film with them. And I say it's a good experience or step forward because I think we'll get better from each experience he has.
Were there little things he did that the average football viewer wouldn't have seen or appreciated?
Yes. Yeah, there was a number of plays where he got to different guys in his progression, avoided a number of sacks. There was one that I thought live that he should have got to a deeper guy from my view on the sidelines, and I got on him for it because I wanted a bigger pass. Thought it was there, he was open, and he just sits there and listens and takes it. And then I watch the film, and if he would have gone for what I wanted, I think it would have been a sack and it would have been 2nd and 15. So that's stuff I like. He's got a feel for that in the pocket, and I always want to be aggressive and go down the field and have bigger plays, but not that expensive, risking a sack. I think he's done a good job with that.
Touchdown pass to Breida, it seemed that he went through a nice progression very quickly, at least to naked eye for me. Could you kind of take me back to that play, and where was Breida on his list of?
He was last. That was a hell of a job. we had everyone going to one side. We snapped the ball real fast, trying to confuse them. Everyone went one way, and that was the way he was looking. And fortunately, Breida flashed across his face, and he just felt it. It's not something you're thinking about much. It's just a feel. And he saw him flash, and he made the right decision because he was open and made a good throw, and Breida made a hell of a catch.
What did Breida do this offseason to become such a better receiver? I think he had a lot of drops last year, and I don't remember a single one this year.
He's worked on it a lot. Breida's worked on everything. Breida's, I just told our team the other day, and we have lots of guys who work hard. I think all of our guys work hard. But in terms of just taking it to a whole nother level, Breida and Kittle showed that the first day of OTAs. They were just pretty obsessive in everything they were doing. Just every little detail of their game was improved in a lot of areas. Breida in the pass game, he wasn't our number one target last year. We used Carlos a lot out of the backfield, and he got most of those reps. And with Jet going down this year, it's given Breida more opportunities, and he worked a lot in this off season, so he could be ready for those opportunities.
Maybe too early to ask this, but can you envision having both Jet and Breida on the field at the same time?
I envisioned it this year, so that won't change next year.
You mentioned the message to the team over these last 6 games. What's your level of frustration, given that at this point that's the message we have to give compared to maybe the mindset you had going into the season?
It is what it is now. It's not. That's just what our circumstances, and so I'm not sitting here just frustrated with it. That's what's been presented, and that's what we're dealing with when we make the best out of it. And my whole thing is that whether I don't think we're eliminated from the playoffs or not, but regardless, it doesn't matter. You're always playing for something, and this league does not have patience. I don't have patience. No one in this league has patience, and you shouldn't have to say that to players. And most of the players who've been around, more veterans, understand that. But a lot of people don't understand that, and so sometimes you do have to educate people on that, and you tell them stories and stuff. But whether it's a free agent, whether it's draft picks, I told our rookies, we had a lot of rookies finish the year last year on a real high note, and gave us a lot of confidence in some of those guys coming into this year. And some of those guys got better or worse in week 1 and through this year, and some have gone the right direction, some haven't, and very well aware of that. And that's stuff I'll look into for these 6 games. Who's going to help lead us into next year? Who's going to help us finish us this year? There's lots of things that are very important to us, and we want to know, as I always say, who are we dealing with? We've been here for over a year now. It'll be 2 years when it's said and done at the end of the season. You'll have a much better idea of people, and nothing is more true than when you watch us in the final weeks of the season. And lots of guys stepped up at this time last year. I want to see the guys who do it again and the guys who don't, and see the guys who truly want to be a part of this. And I see better than I hear, and I'll always say that. And guys, a lot of the guys say the right things. I see our guys work and their actions show it, but we got a stretch ahead of us. So there's a lot of football left, and I feel we're just getting started and finding out what our team is.
What strides would you like to see Mullins make down the stretch?
Continue to get better. He's played in 2 games. I thought he did some decent things last night. He's a good pocket passer, so I wanted to be perfect at it. He was pretty good on a number of his reads, and he had a touchdown get into the last guy in his progression. Had a couple big plays getting to number 2 and 3, but I wanted to be automatic, and I know that's what he wants to do too, and we'll keep working at that till he is.
His arm strength has been scrutinized. On the first pick, was that an arm strength issue, or just he was late in getting rid of it?
It's different with everyone. John Elway's late. He's got the arm strength to be late. If you're not, you got to be a little bit on time. And Nick went to the right read on that. We tried to hit Kittle over the ball. Backer got under it. He took a second hitch, threw it to the comeback outside because juice was taken away in the flat. It was the right read, maybe just a hair late. When you're a hair late, you got to put a little bit more on it, which I think he could have. He didn't. And when that happens, then you're late. So you got to make a better throw, or you got to decide to throw it away so we don't take a sack. And also a receiver can help him out with that. It starts with Nick because the ball wasn't in the perfect spot, but Bourne's got the hand-eye and the ball skills to where he doesn't have to sit and wait on it either. He's got to put his foot back in the ground and go step through it and drive through it, so you stop that pick 6 angle. So the quarterback wasn't perfect, and Bourne needed to have a hell of a play to save him.
What's the balance you're trying to strike there in that situation after you take the holding penalty and you're backed up? Some would say maybe run the ball, punt, and avoid a scenario like that. What's the balance you're trying to strike?
Just attack the defense and what they're doing. If love to give you guys your game plan, but
We'd love
I
to
promise
hear it.
you saw a nice run if you saw two really high safeties. All right, they had a hard man front. It was a premier play action, throw to Kittle over the middle. Linebacker got under it, so you adjust, but you try to be inconsistent with what you want to do, just like defenses. If anybody who's consistent and does the same thing every time, I don't care whether it's good or bad, just tell us what they're doing and we'll have the right answer.
Good. Last one.
The Packers, Arizona last night. I mean, to varying degrees, this was good. We had a defensive back get injured. The guy who replaced him got picked on. We lost the game. Does that just speak? Do you believe some of those guys in the secondary were part of this, or is it just depth issues there?
I think that's part of the whole NFL. Usually when someone gets hurt and someone comes in, it usually is a little bit of fall off. It doesn't matter what team you're with, that's everyone. And if it's not, then you're in a pretty fortunate situation. But no, I do believe we have guys who can play. I don't like when guys have to do it alone. You got to step up at other situations. If you're down to your second or third quarterback, I want those guys to come in and carry us and play well. I also want other positions to step it up. If your corners go down in a game, I want them to come in and be able to cover very well man coverage. I also want us to mix in some zones and have them covering zone and then get there with the pass rush. It'll always be the focal point will be on that new guy who comes in the game. But if you ever have a guy come off the bench who hasn't truly earned a starting role, to whether he hasn't been good enough to do that, or if he's just not quite ready because of his lack of experience, you want other people around him to step up and take the pressure off that guy. And I don't think we've done that in every facet either.